What's good, y'all? It's your boy Stefan G, and we back again with Culture Talk with another fire topic. So I want y'all opinion. Do y'all feel today, in history in general, all of that the black church is hypocritical? Why or why not?
Yeah. Let's start with come as you are. How they be saying come as you are. They say you can come however you are, but you go into church and you got people looking at you like, I don't like that, and that makes people uncomfortable, and it makes you not want to come, and then that, puts a strain on your relationship and the Lord. So yeah.
Also, I'm a PK. If y'all didn't know, that means pastor's kid. Oh Jesus. Yes, times 100. Because honestly, people will tell you to the same degree. Come as you are. God meets people where you are. He created you. He knows what He did with you. He's gonna take you and use you. You can have a relationship with Him, but only if this relationship looks like this and you start here.
Oh God.
So because of that, you have people that are raised and they're forced to go to church. People tell you what a good relationship with God is, it looks like. Instead of telling you how to have a good relationship with God, they teach you what to pray. That's like repetition instead of how to pray. They don't teach you that you can have emotions and you can have feelings, and it's okay to feel broken at times, because if you're not perfect, or if you just don't throw it off your back and say go with God, you're not a good Christian. And also it's manipulative. It's used to it's a part of oppressing women, telling women that it's their job to follow after their man, be the perfect wife, be a housewife. And it does not teach anybody how to live. It tells you what to live, how to live your life, walking this straight line that I designed for you. And if you don't walk it, now I'm going to make sure that everyone in this church knows your business. I'm going to make sure when you come home for Thanksgiving, you're uncomfortable. And then on top of that, my parents were divorced. And after they got divorced, no one wanted anything to do with them, with my mother specifically, single mother of 5 children, raising them by herself. No one wanted anything to do with them because she got divorced, but didn't consider the relationship. Why? Because we forget that the Bible is a living text, which means that it evolves and everybody takes it a different way. Instead, if you can't fit in it, you can't be a part of it, and that's it. And then you're damned to hell. Also, we're very judgmental. Excuse me. You can't tell anybody, what's it called, that they're living their life the way that they want to, whatever. What happened to don't judge your neighbor? What happens to whoever cast the first stone better have a perfect life, otherwise I will strike you dead? What happened to that? Use the Bible, not when it's beneficial, but when it applies to your life. Either read it and weep or don't talk at all.
That's facts.
I have my own personal issues with the church. I believe they ain't about shit, and they just talk this whole thing of like, that's tough, but you better pray. Like, what? I shit you not, y'all. One time on Easter Sunday, this man had a seizure, and he was sitting there. He was having a seizure, like a full real life seizure. That was not the Holy Ghost. That was a seizure, and the pastor at the church looked at him and was like, can somebody come get this man? In the meanwhile, can y'all bring y'all tie to the front?
Money maker.
Now, this is a black church. The white men, the white firefighters came in looking at this black establishment and said, what the fuck? We still praising God while this man is having a seizure. Now, other than that, they don't help the mental health shit at all. Praying sometimes ain't gonna do it. Sorry to say it. And it's just shit, might as well just pray on it. Like, it doesn't work. So I hope me saying this doesn't teach people to stray away from God. Now, I don't have any concrete evidence that God's there, but I do feel like He's there. So instead, for anybody who doesn't like the way the church system is set up, a thing you can do is fuck them niggas. Interpret the Bible how you want to interpret it. and go about life through that. You can still talk to the nigga. You can still talk to guy. He gonna be there. But
You are calling the Lord a nigga. I need you to stop.
Hey, I didn't call him.
you can still talk to my guy. You can still talk to dude, but you don't have to live your life on how the man in the front of the church says it. Live how you want to say it.
Can I respond to the prayer point? About the mental health? Okay, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I hate when people try and blanket things. I also feel like people don't understand that, like, God gives you people in your life for a reason. God gives you people in your life that are supposed to help you and nurture you through situations. And yeah, prayer can help, because when I go through whatever I do, I pray and that gives me peace about it. But also, at some point in my life, I had to stop doing that for a second and focus on myself and condition myself and calm myself down. And that's why God gives you people in your life to help you. Because if you were supposed to do it alone, there would be one human. It would be just one person on the whole planet. But there's more than one person, and that's because people are just like, if you just go and do whatever and have faith. Like, people say have faith, but don't teach you how to have faith.
Oh, God.
And that's the problem.
You can't say, oh God, bro.
One point after Satchel said, my aunt actually died that way, having a seizure in the church. She passed away, and they thought it was the Holy Ghost. And then another thing I was talking about, they're so hypocritical. Like, I have a lot of aunties and uncles that are like preachers and evangelists and stuff. And the one thing that they do is like they're like real strict about like they're homophobic. I feel like they don't want like a lot of gay people in their church. They talk down on them if they do, like the choir directors and stuff. If somebody in the church turns out to be gay, they talk down on them. But yet they're alcoholics, and when they do, and they're like, they judge people. And I'm like, if you're not getting that, that's the same. Like, sin is sin. If a lot of preachers don't get that, that's how I feel like they're hypocritical, because they want to call out somebody else on one sin, but they have a million other sins, but they justify themselves for it.
Seen it with my own eyes.
Speak on like Satchel's point, I think a lot of people should educate themselves on God for themselves and not worried about other people too, because it's this thing like we talk about like prayer. It also says in the Bible to pray, but it says the work attitude. Prayer without work is dead. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people don't know that because they're not going to teach you that. And I'm a PK too. And my dad tells me a lot of the stuff that they're supposed to be preaching in the church, they don't preach it. They don't preach women empowerment and all that stuff. So like I said, you have to go find God for yourself and stop worried about when you go into church. When it comes to judgmental shit, like, I was taught from God how to love, not people in the church. So when I walk in the church, I promise you on a Sunday, I will walk in with some Nike shorts on and not give a fuck, because I'm not there for nobody in that church but except God. You know what I'm saying?
But it depends on the church, though. Like, the older the church is, well, the older the black church is, that's when they're more hypocritical. Like, my church, I have a very young pastor. He had a child at 16. Like, we be talking about porn, and, like, we talk about everything, and it depends on the church. Like, I've been able to strengthen my relationship with Christ through my church. Some people, it deteriorates. Like, my mom, before the church we go to now, she, like, stopped going to church, and she, like, kind of lost her faith because she felt like she was just being judged. Like, she was tired of being there every Wednesday and every Sunday. But sometimes it's not even just the church, it's the parenting. If the parent forces you to be in that environment, and that environment is taken home with you, then you're also going to be drawn away from going to the church.
Do you think you can love God and not have a religion?
Yes, that's exactly what I have. If you really want to be religious, you gotta read the Bible, because these niggas at the church be talking about, oh, bruh, you bet not, don't smoke weed. Where the fuck does it say that? What about porn? When does it say porn? They ain't have porn back in when they wrote the Bible, my nigga. So when does it fucking say that shit? They interpret it how they want to, based off their bigotry and their ignorance. So it's up to you, it's up to us to interpret it how I want. Now, I heard somebody say, I can't live off the ideas of another man. So take your shit, take this Bible, read it, interpret it how you want, and that's how you live your life. Because some people really live their life off the ideas of that pastor. And not 9 times out of 10, maybe a good like 6 out of 10, that nigga ain't shit. So
I would say
7.
Like
A 7? That's a better number? Alright, so 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, that nigga ain't shit.
I'm gonna shout out to.
All right, so like basically, I took a religion class here at Clark or whatever, and like I personally never really got into the Bible because I just was like, it wasn't written by God like Himself. It was written by other people, and like if you really get into the Bible, it's so many mistranslations in the Bible. Like that, she would just be like, well, why do you follow this? Like, why do we believe in this? Why do we go by this? Like, there's literally talks about how Mary wasn't a virgin. Like, it's so much stuff in there that you really just no, because technically, in order for like Jesus to be a disciple, it was like one of the things in the Bible for Jesus to be the Messiah, he had to be an heir to David's throne. And in order to be an heir to David's throne, that means Mary would have had sex with Joseph, and that means she wasn't a virgin. But she could be virgin by age, which means she was under the age of 14 at the time.
Oh
shit.
Hold up, my brain.
And the reason it's like that is because religion is man-made. I gotta understand, like, it's lost in translation because the book was originally the Book of the Dead. It was the Book of the Dead. So when they came over, the white people, they realized God was black, and yes, He is black. They realized He was black, so they changed the whole translations and stuff. So stuff like that we wouldn't know because it's lost in translation. That's why you have to find God for yourself outside of religion, finding it spiritually, because it's better to be spiritually connected with God than religiously connected. Because nowhere in the Bible says you need to hate gay people. It doesn't say that. But it's lost in translation, you know what I'm saying? So we have to find that for ourselves and stop depending on the black church and all that.
Also, I feel like the biggest thing I've ever taken from the Bible is that the only person, not person because God's not a person, but the only, for lack of a better term, the only person that can judge anyone is God. So like, if you're using the church to push a nasty rhetoric or to help the spread of an evil narrative, like, to me, it just feels like you are taking Christianity back to what it was when it was Manifest Destiny and white people were using it, God, to spread over and steal native land and purge their people. So to me, like, it's really about, like, I grew up, my mom's always taught me, like, after everything went south, she always said that your relationship with God is like a marriage. Religion is the other woman. It's not necessary. Like, you don't need to have that. That's not, God is not religion. Like, it is a relationship that you have with Him. And I hate when people say, this is what it looks like. This is what this is. This is how, if God doesn't come to you and He's not 6'3" with nice brown skin, He's not a black man, He doesn't have wool hair, and He's not wearing 2 pairs of shoes on each foot, then that's not God. Like, He looks just like this, and if He doesn't look just like this, it's not Him. Like, I hate that. I feel like God comes to people in different ways. God manifests Himself in different ways. Different people need different things. So because of that, how narrow-minded are you to think that He comes in one way when I'm different from him and her? So how is what she needs going to help me? Because we are not the same. So to me, to that degree, I think that everyone, again, if you were hurt by a church, and if that was pushed on you as a kid, I am so sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that, because that hurts. But I still encourage you to form your own relationship. Go and do your own research. If you hear something that you don't feel like suits you, it doesn't sit with you, I encourage you to go pick up a Bible or get on your hands and knees and pray and figure that shit out for yourself. And don't listen to, I wholeheartedly agree. I don't let anybody, it's so hard for me to sit in any church because I don't like when people get up on the pulpit and preach a narrative about hating gay people when the Bible says not to judge, or love thy neighbor, or telling women to follow and do whatever and to have whatever and to be under your husband, when there's stories like Ruth and Naomi and Esther, who had to go and save her kingdom and do all that stuff because she was on her own time, and she said, if I perish, I will save my people regardless. That to me makes me feel like people take the Bible how they want to take it. So please, I encourage you to go out there, and if you don't agree with it, you're probably right because someone says something stupid. Go find the right answer.
Also, I want y'all opinion because I've seen a lot of people feel this way. So what do y'all feel about the idea that churches don't give back enough to the community? Like, they'll be preaching and they have all these nice cars and all of this, but then the people that's coming to the church struggling, all they say is pray about it, but they don't give back.
I think it's more of a big community thing, because like in the small communities, there's always things that we do. You know, we go out. So I think it depends on the area, you know, like where you at.
But like when like Houston was flooding, Joel Osteen was not trying to let those people in the church. So it depends on the area, the environment, and the type of church. Like a big church like that, like I feel a church like that is more like a prop. Like, you know, when everyone is not gonna get the word, it's just it's Joel Osteen. Like, you know, exactly.
Yeah. Also, what's it called? When my parents had a church, we every Thanksgiving would go and give out a bunch of turkeys to homeless people. Like it depends on the church, because I know my church, we went out during Thanksgiving. We had like helps with women's shelters. Like there was always a lot of things that we did to give back. But I do definitely feel like the church is like a money-making scheme sometimes. Like if you're really at the wrong place. I think it's even down to the fact that they collect tithe and offering before they give you the word. So they want what they want from you, even if their shit's not hitting. Excuse my French, God forgive me. But you know what? Sometimes you sit in church and they just preach about they'll like be like, oh, yes, and God is real and we love him and he's so great. And someone plays some music while I talk, so it seems like it's very theatrical and climactic. That's how it is. And then you give, and then they say the Bible says to give and give thanks. Well, the Bible also says you reap what you sow. So like there's a lot of things that churches don't do, and they don't sow, and they just reap and they just take money from people. And then people are giving their light bills in church and they're not getting any confrontation with God. So I definitely feel like that's why there's way too many people. That's why I stay away from churches. I'm being 100% honest. There's one church that I go to in the AUC, and that's Spellman's Chapel Church, because they hit over there. But ours, it's not the same for me. I don't get a powerful message from that, because it's just, I am not that person that needs to hear that message. I need something more intimate. I need something more deep. And last Sunday, the lady that preached, she was hitting it. I will tell you guys the message later. But yeah, definitely churches use money. They take advantage of the fact that people will subscribe to God. They put God on anything and expect people to buy it. And I don't think that's fair.
Like we have to separate God and man-made stuff. Cause this is not God. Like if y'all know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this, but you do not have to give tithes and offering. If you don't have it, but you don't have to give it. Like a lot of when I give my tithes and stuff, it's not to the church, it's to like homeless people and stuff. Like I will walk up and I gave a homeless man like $15 the other day. You know, I only had like $15 in my pocket. But like that's just stuff that I do, because I know that stuff comes back to me. That's what that's for, you know what I'm saying? So the money that they use, the church is gonna get their money, because like they won't tell you that they get money from like the city. Exactly, they get money from the government.
Yeah, they also get a tax reduction.
Exactly, because my dad was telling me a lot of the reason they don't preach what they supposed to preach in church because of the government. The government controls what they preach, but they're not going to tell you that.
And
like,
the conference that they're in, because like my church is in like the Texas Southern Baptist Conference, so it's like depending on what the conference wants y'all to hear. But also, when you give your tithes and offerings to the church, you also get a tax write-off. So like they'll send you your W-4. Like my mom gets one like every year from like all the tithes and offerings that she gets from our church. But I have a question for y'all. Would y'all be able to be in a relationship with someone that didn't believe in a higher power? So not like God per se, but like, because a lot of people don't believe in like God, but they'll believe in like there's a higher power. So like there's like a difference between being atheist and agnostic. Like agnostic, like you believe that there's something above you, but you're not sure what it is. Whereas atheist, you don't believe in anything.
Well, I tell you, I could be with somebody that believes in a different God than me, because actually in the Bible it does says that there are many gods, but they're all different forms of me, and they're gonna all come back to me at this end. So we all believe in the same thing, in just different forms. So it doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole like the egg yolk thing. I forgot what they say. Don't be with somebody that's not equally yoked or something. Yoked. Yeah. That means like somebody that can't bring the table to you. That doesn't mean nothing with religion. People misconstrue the Bible's words a lot, so you have to read that for yourself. That's why I can do it.
You have to constantly consider the role of man in everything.
Me personally, of course, I can be with somebody who doesn't believe in God, because same way they ain't got proof that God real, I really have no solid. A higher power?
Yeah, like,
well, a straight atheist.
Yeah.
A straight atheist. Okay. Yeah. Because I wouldn't really bring religion into a relationship, to be honest.
And then this is where I have to step in and say, excuse me.
You have to let me finish speaking, sis. No, you don't want to let me do that. Hold on. Huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Did you already cut me off? Go ahead.
This movie angels.
I cannot be with an atheist, somebody who does not believe in any type of higher being, only because like so much of myself, like I consider myself a spiritual person, and like especially when it comes to a relationship, like especially a marriage, we're going before the Lord and saying that me and you are having a bond together. So like, if you're not vowing to anybody, then you gonna go and cheat on me. Like, I need that. I need that. No, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that for you. I'm just saying that for you.
Because if he want to cheat, he gonna cheat either way. You don't need no marriage certificate. You don't need to be in front of God because people cheat either way.
But what I'm saying is that like you don't take it as seriously like as me. Like me and you are swearing before the Lord. Like you're not swearing on anybody. Like you're not going before anybody and saying that like this is who I want to be with for forever. So like for me, I can't be with anybody who doesn't believe.
Can I finish? I personally believe it don't mean shit because like nobody when they want to cheat is gonna be like, I did promise my nigga God I wouldn't cheat. Nobody's gonna say that.
But you talk to God like that. God is a friend.
God is my nigga.
Yeah, bro. Nobody's going. People do not think about God when they commit action. So, but hold on. Me personally, I think that I don't really need to if I 100% like this person and love this person. And if we gonna go, I mean, shit, we could put that on like a boot that we like. That we not gonna cheat on each other. It's whatever. As long as you really in love, it doesn't really fucking matter to me.
Kayla.
Okay. So, I asked the question because me personally, I couldn't be with someone that didn't believe in a higher power. Because like Sydney's saying, just being spiritual. And usually when there's a disconnect with that, the person that doesn't believe will not respect the fact that you believe in something. So regardless of religion, because a lot of people are not religious, but they believe in spirituality. So like, not religion. Like if you're not a Christian, like that's fine. Like if you're not Catholic, then that's fine. But if you can be like, yeah, like I believe that there is somebody above me. Like I can't say that I'm like, there's nothing above man. Like there has to be something above man. Like we cannot be the highest entity on this planet or like in this world. So that's why I asked.
I believe that whole hard. I believe that whole hard.
I have to stop saying
I feel like I could marry someone who believed in a higher power as long as we're like I'm very respectful of other religions just because I lived in New York, so like it's a tolerant ass place. There's people from everywhere and anything and even things you didn't even know. So I'm just a tolerant person by nature. So I know how to appreciate and like respect other religions, but if you don't have the same religion or if you're just a spiritual person, because I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual. Like I'm a keep God at the center and keep it pushing type of person. So to me, like as long as you are respectful, I don't really care. As long as we recognize that we are a part of two different things or that we felt two different things, if it was me spiritual and someone else like a different religion. Like I dated someone for 2 years who was Muslim and our relationship was fine until his family said, if she's not Muslim, you have to cut her off. And then we broke up like abruptly because his family was like, Muslim is the right religion, she's wrong. And then that was like difficult. So as long as the other people and like the other religion is respectful, then no, because like Jojo said, like God said, there's many gods. God is many things to many people. So please.
It says it's in the Bible.
Oh, bro, I was definitely taking that a different way. I said, whoa. I was like, wait. No, I understand what you mean now. I thought you meant like people pray to me and stuff. I was like, pause. I appreciate the love, but it's not like that.